So first what I did was I folded a piece of paper in half, and then I just drew the outline of the key onto one side of the paper, and I just used these images here as reference, and I did end up fixing some of it off camera, and I know it still doesn't look perfect, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And you want to draw it pretty big as well. So now moving on to the next step. So next what I did was I coloured the whole key yellow, and then I just went over it with a light brown pencil to make it look more of like a gold colour. Or you could also use a gold pen if you want to, but I didn't have one, so I tried to make it look gold with the pencils. And again, I'm just using these images here as reference. So next we want to start cutting this out. So next what I did was I cut out the shape, and I drew the key on the other side of the paper, and then I just coloured it in the same way as I did for the other side. And also when you're cutting it out, you want to make sure that you leave an outline around the key so that it won't be like too thin, if that makes sense. And I did end up making it a bit too thin at first, so I ended up gluing it onto another piece of paper, and then I just cut it out again. So that way you should have two pieces. And as you can see, I already went ahead and I covered them in clear tape. So hopefully you can see that. And then once you've done that, we can move on to the next step. So next what I did was I drew out the wings onto another piece of paper, and then I just drew on some lines using a pencil, and again I just used this image here as reference, but you can of course do whatever design you want for yours. And then what I did was I placed it on another piece of paper and I cut them out. And again, you want to leave a little bit of an outline on the edge of the wings, just so then they won't be too thin. And you should have 4 pieces like so. So now moving on to the next step. So next what I did was I taped both sides of the key together using some more clear tape. And this was quite fiddly to do, so it's not very neat, but that's okay. And then you want to leave a little opening at the bottom so then that you can add in the filling, and it's up to you what you want to use for yours. You can use cotton balls or You can even use pieces of foam, but I decided to use some of this plastic bag. So what you want to do is you just want to cut off a piece like so. And then you just want to place it inside. And then once you've done that, you just want to tape up this opening with some more clear tape. So I'm just going to do. So once you've done that, next what you want to do is you want to cover the wings in clear tape. And as you can see, I did cut off the outlines. And I was originally going to make the wings squishy as well, but I thought that would just make it too complicated. So I'm just going to stick them on the wings like this. But you can of course make the wings squishy as well if you want to. And then lastly what you want to do is you just want to tape or glue on the wings onto the key like so. And then once you've done that, your squishy will be finished. So once you've done that, here is what the final squishy should look like. So as you can see, I taped on the wings. And it did turn out pretty squishy. And I'm really happy with how this turned out. And again, I know it doesn't look perfect, but that's fine. It did get a little bit dirty in some areas because a lot of dust kept getting stuck to the tape. But I still think it looks pretty good. And by the way, one thing I forgot to mention is you can also add on a piece of clear string at the back of the key to make it look like it's flying, but that part is just optional. So, yep, I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and as always, please feel free to request some more squishy tutorials or some more paper squishy tutorials you'd like me to do in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.